Good morning and welcome to Explore Within Coaching. I'm Oceana. Today I want to talk to you about choice and the choices that we make as individuals about our lives. When we take responsibility for our choice, we empower ourselves to be stronger individuals. When we give credit of our choices or our decisions to an outside entity, we're actually disempowering ourselves. So I know, I often say, I am so blessed to have whatever. And when I say that, it sounds like I am giving choice or giving the empowerment to God, source, universe, whatever you believe in. For me, that's not the case. When I say I am so blessed, yes, I give some credit to God, source, universe, but I also give credit to myself. I've worked hard to have the life that I have. I've worked hard to have the people in my life that I have in my life. I have overcome trauma. I have overcome the odds that were not in my favor growing up to become a strong, empowered individual. And so when I say I am so blessed, I mean, I am blessed, and I'm blessed by the choices I've made and the response of those choices that I've made. And I am blessed by God's source universe. I don't disempower it. I don't give all the credit to some outside source. I understand that I worked for what I have. And so I take the credit for what I have too. I mean, yes, I'm blessed, but it's because I've worked hard to be blessed. So I want to give you a scenario. I want you to imagine for a moment that you walk into a classroom and you sit down and the teacher in front of you says, we're going to do a coloring practice. I am going to give each of you a single color to color with. I'm going to give you a set amount of time. I'm not going to tell you how much time. And you need to color with that color until I say time up. Once your time is up, you're going to come up. I'm going to give you a second color. And you're going to color for a set amount of time. And I'm going to say time up. And you're going to come up and you're going to get a third color. And we're going to do this 6 times. So in total, you're going to have 30 minutes to color your picture. You're going to have only 6 colors. And you don't know how much time you have with that color. I want you to think about that for a minute. So you do not get to choose your picture. You do not get to choose your colors. You do not get to choose how long you have your color for. So what choice do you have? I'm going to let you sit with that for a minute. What choices do you have? You actually have quite a few choices. You can choose whether or not you want to use that color. Nobody said you have to color with the color. So if you don't like it, don't use it. Your choice. You get to choose where you're going to use that color. And if you're done using the color, nobody said you had to color for the full amount of time. They just said you were only going to have the color for a set amount of time. So you actually have the power to color the picture you want to color based on the limited choices that you were given leading up to that picture. Nobody said you had to color in the lines. Nobody said you had to color the entire picture. Those choices were yours, and you're empowered within those choices. So I want you to just think about that for a few minutes. You're empowered in the choices of a situation that you might feel like you have no choice in, and yet you still had a choice. You could choose to color, you could choose not to color, you could choose to color in the lines, out of the lines, it didn't matter. None of those rules were in the instructions. Just that you would be given 6 colors, you'd have 30 minutes, and you would not know how long you had those colors for, and you didn't get to choose your picture. Those were the only rules. You got to make up the rest of them. You got to be empowered in that choice. So now I want you to think about your body. We all have one. Mine's ever changing. I never know what it's going to look like from day to day, and I could choose to be frustrated by that. I could choose to be angry about that, or I could choose to be excited about it or joyful about it. That choice is mine. I get to choose my attitude about my ever-changing body. So I want to share with you In my youth, I I had a really good body. I'm going to own that. I had great boobs. I had this hourglass hip waist. Like my body went, whoo. It was very, very, very attractive. I hated it. I hated everything about it. I hated the fact that in sixth grade I had a C cup. I hated that the boys noticed that I had hips and that my boobs wiggled, and I hated that they got in the way of my sports. I hated that the rest of my friends were kind of the stick figure still, and I had this womanly body. I felt really insecure about it, and there wasn't anything I liked about it. Not a single thing. And I lived with myself at war with my body for a very long time. Um, I look back at pictures of myself in my early 20s when I was really fat. And I mean, like, oh, huge, so fat. I mean, I must have been a size 8. Yeah, okay. So I'm being a bit of an ass, but I really thought that I was this horrific fat whale. And I felt so insecure against all of my beautiful friends who were tall and slender and had no hips, and their boobs were in perfect alignment with their body. And I had such a warped view of what my body was, and how that body got me through life. I spent a long, long time at war. And then I learned that my body could be used as a manipulation to get what I wanted. There wasn't a man alive I couldn't get simply because I had a hot body. Now, I didn't think it was a hot body. I just knew that men wanted it, and there was a big difference. Yeah, anyways, I'm going to move on. So when I got about my mid-20s, I had started putting on weight, and I knew I'd been putting on weight, but I didn't realize how much weight I had actually put on until I was looking at a picture in my mom's photo album. And I went, "Who is that?" And my mom's like, "That's you." and, and like I actually didn't recognize myself in the picture because I had no idea what my body actually looked like. And by that time, it was pretty round. It wasn't what I would consider super sexy. In fact, I hated that body even more than I hated the first one. And so again, I went into this war with my body. And I felt like I had no choice. Like that I had no choice about how my body looked or how I responded to this vessel that I was living in. And then I started realizing that I did have the choice. I could beat myself up for getting fat. I could beat myself up for being skinny. I could hate myself. I could do all of those things. I had that choice. Or I could choose to give myself some grace. I could choose to give myself some gentle love. And really, that was what I needed. I had so much trauma up to that point that really what I needed was gentle love. And I realized I had to give it to myself. I couldn't ask for it from somebody else until I could actually give it to myself, because I couldn't accept it from somebody else. I couldn't believe them. So I started making the choice to love my body. I started making the choice that every day I would do one thing that showed my body love. Whether it would be have a long, luxurious shower or a bath, or giving myself a self-massage because my feet were tired from standing on them all day, or getting a pedicure. Like there were so many things that I could do, that I had the choice to do on a daily basis to show myself love. That was my choice. And so I did. And pretty soon, I started looking in the mirror and I was actually able to say I loved my body. I was starting to no longer be at war. There wasn't this imbalance happening of, oh, I'm terrible, I'm terrible, I'm terrible, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great, I'm terrible, and pretty soon it was leveling out. And I was able to start looking in the mirror and seeing the beauty that I was. And I was able to do that because I'd made the choice that I was worth it. I had empowered myself to be good to myself. And that's what I want to encourage you to do, is use your power of choice to be good to yourself, to take care of yourself, to love yourself, because you deserve it. And honestly, if you don't learn to love yourself, nobody else can love you. And not because they won't try, but because you won't let it in, because you won't be able to believe that you're worthy of it. So love yourself. Make the choice to empower yourself to have self-love, because you're worth it. That's it for me today. Be safe, be good to one another, and love yourself a little more each day.